You look insane.
I know.
It's not, I like hate to burst your bubble. It's not as good as the hats on the
I know that.
episode. Okay.
I'm aware.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Season 5, Episode 4, Susan.
This is an ode to all the fabulous
hats.
industrial hats at the industrial show, because there was some wild ones.
Yeah. I liked the really chromy construction hat.
Yeah, I liked that one too.
Hard
That
hat,
was very, very fancy.
I liked that one. And the taxi cab one was pretty good too.
It was very cute. I wish I had better tools to work with, but I like it.
Now we have to wash that colander.
My hair is not that dirty. Oh my God.
It's not about your hair being dirty. It's about that it was on your head and we use that for food.
I'll clearly wash it, but I do not. I just want everyone to know I do not have dirty hair.
I am not accusing you of dirty hair.
Oh God.
I'm not accusing you of dirty hair.
Ew.
Ew, David. Okay. I don't have a ton to say about this episode. I don't hate it. I might have to make good on my promise to walk into the sea if I see Sophie Lennon again.
Yeah.
But she wasn't doing it. She wasn't antagonizing Midge or Susie. It was whatever.
You know, the next episode, Midge is gonna have a whole breakdown about. I'm really, really frustrated with Midge. Like, I'm having a hard time,
especially after those first 3 good episodes.
I'm just so sick and tired of Midge as a character, and if this is Midge's character flaw, so be it.
This is a big character flaw,
babe. If you are going to be in this industry, you have to play the game sometimes. And you knew the fact that she knew that this was so serious because of the mob. I don't care if you had a bad day. I don't care that you were throwing a tantrum. You suck it up and you do the thing.
Basically, Frank and Nikki come to Susie and they're like, hey, we need Midge to do this show for us at this trade show. Like, she has to like be in a production about waste management and like independent waste management. It's not just garbage, not like city garbage. And so she basically convinces Midge to do it, and she's like, cool. And she does an okay job the first day. It's like fine.
She's not off book, but whatever.
But who cares? That should be the least of their concerns.
Right.
And so and I guess you said it was a 2-night thing.
Yeah.
So I missed that. So it was a 2 days only thing. And it just was such a short amount of time.
Right. I mean,
it was such a short show. We saw the entirety of it the first go around.
And I said to Kristen out there, when they said it was a 3-act show, I'm like, that's a lot.
That's a lot about waste management.
It was like one after the other after the other. All of the dance numbers were really quick.
Yeah.
Tess was in it. She was fantastic. You just do the damn thing. You just do it. It just might not be as sparkly, but even her first, like you said, her first outing was not super sparkly either.
But the fucking show got a standing ovation.
It was great.
It was ridiculous.
The dance numbers were great.
Yeah.
Everyone was fully committed. They understood what show they were in. You could just do it. If you,
Tessie's toxic, like, I don't know, toxic garbage
trash devil
dump thing was like very good. And the little boy died. It was like so intense. Basically, in between, the comedian on the Gordon Ford show like just leaves, and so they don't have anybody. So Midge tries to say like, what about me? And Gordon is like, no, there's a rule on the show that anybody who works on the show can't be on the show, which actually feels like an okay rule.
Yeah.
Like pretty standard.
Yeah, because then it's like no one's getting favoritism.
Exactly. And she also still won't go out with him, which he keeps pushing, which I am not a fan of. Although we do, which we'll get to, we do find out what his arrangement with his wife is, which is like pretty standard. But I just am, so she gets so pissy and she goes to do the garbage show again and she phones it in so hard. It's not even like, even if she phoned it in harder than the day before, that would be one thing. But she is disruptive to the production. She's not following the lines even while she's reading the script. And I'm just like, so you don't get one thing and so you're
just going to ruin everything else? Then you don't deserve it.
Unacceptable.
Right.
it's unacceptable. And like, I feel like they're bait and switching us with like all this success that she had that we're seeing from the future, because I'm like, now I don't want her to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want her to suffer.
Yeah. And it's not even like, obviously they were showing us that there's this discord between her and her children.
Well, and Susie.
Right.
Like, at some point this is going to come back to bite.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it would be one thing if it was just because of the success and it's just like that happened. Fracturing in families happens.
Of course.
I mean, families are hard. But now it's just like, so you're just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So then you are baby. You're an immature person that does not deserve the success that comes to them.
Does she has the full implications of Frank and Nikki? She knows their mob, like hard mob?
From the beginning, because she knew that they, like, Susie basically talked them out of killing her.
Right. Okay. So, because that's the thing for me is I'm like, not only are you being a total bitch about this whole thing, but like you're endangering Susie.
Right.
Which Frank and Nikki go to talk to Susie and they're like, this is horseshit. What's happening? This is ridiculous. And Susie thinks that like this is the favor. This is going to make them square for everything. And I'm like, Susie, that office that you have is ongoing.
Right.
Like, absolutely not. And so they basically tell her that and they're like, no, we own you forever. And
like, I don't love the 30% of everything that both of them make. I wasn't aware of that part. That felt like new information.
I think it was like half new information. We like knew that they were taking a cut off it. But
I thought it was just from Susie. I didn't realize that directly from Midge, though.
Well, but Midge makes money off Susie. Or Susie makes money off Midge.
But I just thought it would come from, like,
Susie's
come out
money?
of Susie's pocket. Like, are they also going into Midge's pocket?
I don't know.
So, I don't know. I feel like had she played the game and she'd at least delivered, like, a C-level performance.
Just like the first day.
We probably would never have to deal with another favor until she blew up and it was just like, my mother wants to come to your show, whatever. Sure. But it's just like, she's endangering everything.
Everybody. Because that was also like the first day, there was like the assistant or whatever, and he was like, please, like, do whatever. They know where my parents live. And she was like, they know where my parents live too. And I'm like, so they know where you live and your parents live and your kids live and your ex-husband lives. And like, they know everything. So also Joel overhears them threatening Susie and he confronts her and is like, what did you get my wife involved in?
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and the fact that he's like, do you need help? Because Joel has been helpful to Susie. So as much as it's
he fronted her the money that she lost gambling until she could burn down her house.
Exactly. So I know, like, for Susie, it's swallowing nails, but like, you have somebody who might be able to help you. Yeah. So
because he's got connections to the Chinese mob.
I'm saying, and then the 13. Yeah, so you know he's got the Yiddish people. He's got the Chinese people.
Yeah.
You know.
We can do it. Plus the matchmaking lady mob is like pretty intense too.
Yeah. So I'm just like, what? So the both of them just cannot get out of their own way.
Yeah.
But still, Midge's sin is greater.
I'm furious because Susie's just stuck between a rock and a hard place that she didn't realize she was getting into necessarily at the time. But Midge is like purposefully tanking herself at every turn. And that was something that we praised last week with the first 3 episodes. It said it didn't seem like we were doing that again. But it's like she doesn't get one thing she wanted and all of a sudden we're back to 0.
Right. And it's
so
just like,
frustrating.
And, you know, the life of a creator, you think that this is it and it doesn't pan out. And it's just like, oh, but this other thing. Yeah. And so it's like, well, fuck this other thing. This is more important. And it's like, no, that's not going to work out. You can't look at it that way because it's like you're still getting paid. You were still producing something. So don't act like that. I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, and it would be one thing if this was the first time, but she literally had a giant fucking tantrum. And it's just like, I'm having a hard time being invested because she keeps disappointing me. And this might be a flaw of mine. Once you disappoint me, I have a very hard time coming back.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just, I love Rachel Brosnahan still.
Me too.
Because I think she's really pulling it off, but like the thing she's pulling off is not something I'm interested in.
No, I'm just
very annoyed.
This cycle of the story, I'm good.
I was really hoping we had left it in season 4.
Right. You almost lost a fucking toe and then you're still going to have an attitude. No. What is wrong with you? I'm bored of it. Yeah. I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. So we can move on to Abe and Rose first. They go out to see a play. Zelda and Janusz got engaged.
Yay.
He also made a rum cake that intoxicated the entire family, including the children, which was very funny. But then, so Abe and Rose went out with, I keep forgetting his name, Gabe. And his wife, and then another village writer.
It's funny that, because I'm like, what's his name too? It's like, his name is literally Abe with a G in front of it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So with Gabe and his wife, and then another, I guess, village writer and his wife. And so they were all there. They went to the show, and then they went to dinner after. And Abe was being very pretentious, talking about how involved the play was about Jesus and latent homosexuality and like all of this stuff. And Rose was like, oh, I just thought it was like a nice story about a guy and his dog who died. And so Abe was just patronizing her. And she was like, fine, we'll ask the playwright. She walks across the restaurant, grabs the playwright, and is like, what's your play about? And he was like, it's about my dog who died when I was a kid. Amazing. They don't speak the whole way home, and then he like grabs the rose petals from Zelda's proposal and like sprinkles them all around Rose's bed, and then he just sort of like laid on her lap.
I liked that.
It was sweet, but I feel bad for both of them. Yeah,
but I mean, it's marriage.
Yeah.
You know,
he's like, I don't know. He's like a good guy, but he's just too
He just steps in it.
Yeah.
And
also, I think he is the type of man who would absolutely forget how smart his wife is because she's just his wife. She like doesn't have a job. She is, for him, she's just his wife.
Right. Even though she is like a very studied like art historian or like an artist.
And she's very cultured. She comes from money.
Yeah.
It's her money.
She fucked off to France by herself.
Yeah.
Had a grand old time.
Well, remember we met her family.
Yes.
They have like oil money or cow money or something.
It was oil.
Oil, yeah. So like she comes from money. And then the last thing that we've got is we finally met Gordon Ford's wife, Hetty, and she is a former lover of Susan.
Which you called it.
Well, like only like in the moment. When Susie started running away from her, I was like, oh, girlfriends. Ex-girlfriends. It was good though, and like I'm very curious what happened. Obviously, Hetty made promises to Susie, even though she said she didn't. They were like making plans for the future and stuff. And then I don't know if she can't have been married to Gordon Ford for that long, for 15 whole years. But she left, and Susie was really disappointed in her and everything. And so Susie would not go for a drink, and I think she should at some point.
I think she will.
Yeah, because that is clearly what Hetty and Gordon's open marriage is about. Like why he can sleep around is because he married her to like beard for her, essentially, which is makes me feel a little better about Gordon Ford. Yeah, I'm like, as long as there's an explanation, like,
right. And
but it's also like he can't tell Midge my wife's a lesbian, so I'm allowed to sleep with you.
I wonder if that's why we got the Milo Ventimiglia thing, because he had the wife and he had an explanation and all of that stuff. And he was like, you need context. And she's like, no, I don't. And then he explained the context and she was like, okay, I'll meet you in the park again or whatever. So maybe this is another form of like, you need context.
Maybe.
And this is even better context other than like, we're separated now. At least like now it's just like, I literally don't sleep with my wife.
Sleep with my wife. Yeah, I don't know. I am...
Better yet, my wife doesn't sleep with me.
Yeah. Because I liked every part of this episode that didn't have to do with Midge throwing a tantrum for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're being completely transparent here, I like internally threw a little tantrum because I did not want to do this tonight because it's like,
sorry, I already had makeup on.
No, don't apologize. It's the show's fault.
No,
It's not. I think if this were, I was totally fine. Like if I had to tap in for Yellow Jackets, honestly, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But because I have this really complicated relationship with Midge and I'm having a hard time coming back from, talking about it doesn't feel fun because I don't like to shit on stuff.
Me too.
And this makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
This show doesn't make me feel good. And it's like, while my creative journey and what I'm doing is very different from that, it's still a creative entrepreneurial type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so I have to watch someone who is gaining somewhat success and is making money at something she loves to do, but yet she doesn't get her way one time and she's going to throw another fucking tantrum.
Yeah, it's super annoying. And I think a big part of it too for me is that I think Rachel Brosnahan is keeping it just on the right side in her performance, but the way that Midge is written is very manic pixie-ish.
And I don't vibe.
And I can't with that because it's like, I can feel the production trying to tell me that Midge is adorable and I should just find her like whimsical and a delight.
But she's cute.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, she's cute. She's horrible.
Right. Like, just because she looks fantastic in a red lip and all of her jaunty hats.
No, it's not enough.
You cannot throw her in a nipple-pointed corset and be like, but she's got a bad attitude, but her nips, right? And I'm like, no, I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Also, this episode was like none of my favorite looks that she's ever worn.
No.
Not great all around.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Mostly disappointed. Obviously, we'll be back. We're going to finish out the series. There's no sense not to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Please don't comment and ask us why we're continuing to watch something we don't like. I'm sick of that comment.
Because we have made a social contract with you, so we are making good on that social contract.
We're gonna see it through, and I still have hope just based on the those future clips that we got.
Yes, I do as well.
I would have loved it if we got another one in this episode. We did not. Mm-hmm. Which was a little disappointing. I sort of thought we'd keep doing it. It's like the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us had those amazing flashbacks. And I was like, this is tight every episode. And there was like just
never
those
again.
2. So we'll see. I would love to see more of that because at a certain point, I do want to see like the aftermath. I want to see like what it all builds to. I'm tired of her throwing tantrums over not getting her way when like we know now that she's destined for this greatness. So
and I don't want to end this show experience hating the main character.
Me too.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
It doesn't like, ooh, but the darkness, it makes her interesting. No, it doesn't. It makes me hate her. And I don't want to do that. Like, I understand that people contain multitudes as well as characters, but you cannot forget that you have to have the light with the dark.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right, because like with the first 3 episodes having the jump forward, it made it easier to swallow. Be like, she's still eating shit, but like, see, it works out though.
A glimmer in the horizon.
And then now it's like, but I don't want her to have that though. If this is the way she's gonna act, if she's gonna put everything in jeopardy, she doesn't deserve it.
I agree.
So,
totally agree.
Oi.
So,
I think this is the most I have ever, like, the entire hands shoulders to the ears.
We just have to get the mob involved.
I know.
And then Rachel is.
I mean, my dad, when he was still working, and he used to have this long black trench coat in the 90s, and a couple of his customers referred to him as Mafia, and he just never corrected them. And he's got the mustache and the dark hair and everything.
Mafia Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's it for us. We will be back next week with episode 5. We'll see you then. Like and subscribe if you want.
Yep.
Let us know what you think.
And and we appreciate you.
Yeah,
and thank you for keeping your end of the social contract.
Yeah.
We super appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
That's it for us. Bye. Back on.
Hey. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Get the WB frog in here too.
My cat absolutely took a shit.
I know he did.
Just like, man.